YouTube. How's it going? So, you got in front of you is the Prodigy 5-inch in the FDE brown, coyote brown. And as you guys know, I changed the two-piece factory spring and guide rod here on the Prodigy to the EGW guide rod kit here. And with that one, I'm not a big fan of it because technically you're not able to remove this piece without having some sort of tool to push this all the way down and then use this clip to pin it in place. So that's not a big, I'm not a big fan of that. It takes some time to get that seated and this pin put on there correctly. And so just finding something that'll fit this here, if you guys can see, there we go. More using this random tool. So let me find that here. So this is what I was able to use, this needle nose to push it down there. I think it was this piece here, but yeah, it'll push all the way down and then I'm able to lock it in place with the pin. And so as you can see, you could easily lose this pin and then have some issues cleaning it and taking it out. So I'm gonna do this off camera and so I can show you guys how to actually remove this while this is in place. All right, so as you can see, I had to push this all the way through until you're able to see the hole, and then it'll seat flush here, and then you're able to pull this out. So I'm hoping that I can use this piece because it sits flush with this piece instead of the original tube that doesn't cover this portion here. So let me show you guys what I mean. So this is the sleeve here that will go in there, and then that's how it'll fit. As you guys can see here, it does not cover that. So all right, so I was able to take it apart. It'll come off once you pull. Be careful with the spring and remove the pin. And so I'll be using this from EGC because it'll cover that gap that's in between there. But at the same time, I don't know if I still want to use the same spring for it. This is the EGC spring. This is the Prodigy factory spring. It's a little different. And then I bought the Atlas. So with the Atlas spring, it's definitely longer than these two. So I don't know the difference between that, but if you guys were looking at the Atlas website, just know that the spring is a little bigger, but at the same time, you could reuse the factory parts and just use the tubeless guide rod here. And so put that to the side. These are the two pieces, as I've shown you, factory and the EGW, and I'll be reusing that one. And then with these pieces here, put those to the side because I don't think I'm gonna use those. I think I'm gonna go back to this is the factory two-piece. I'm gonna go back to using the spring with this one here. And so the same thing, same concept with this. You put this in and then seat this all the way in. And then I'll show you guys once I get that seated all the way. All right, so I was able to do that. Push this part in. This will pop up and make sure it's a lot of tension. So it'll hold it automatically once that pin is up. So just be careful with this because it's under a lot of spring tension. And then we'll go ahead and put it in here so you guys can see of how this piece will go in here. So let's get that. I know with this one, it's a little, there we go. That'll go in just like that. And then push it and it'll release it. If you guys were able to see that, it releases it and it's in place. So you guys can see I was able to use the EGW piece, and then we will make sure you pull that back, and then we'll put it back together. So that's how you put this guide rod in there. But as you guys can see, protruding there. So hold on, let me see. The barrel is not sitting flush. So make sure your barrel, there we go. Make sure the barrel is sitting flush. And yeah, so there we go. So that was my bad there. And we'll see with this change as well once we get that seated correctly. So let me put that back together and go from there. All right, so everything's back in place. Chamber clear. Nothing in there, and there it is. So that was when I was pushing it with it, but that's fine. So let's see if it works better than this one with the pin instead of. So this one has the push already embedded in the guide rod, and this one you needed this little clip or pin. So you can use this piece a lot easier than trying to figure this out. So I'm gonna take it apart again and then see how easy it is between these two here. All right, so with this one, if you wanted to change it, so let's do it this way. You push it all the way in, just like that. And then it'll be seated like that. And then you'll just pull the entire piece out with it like that. So, and then to seat it back in, push in softly, guide it through it, real nice and slow. And there you go. So that should be it. And let me put it back together and then give you guys the final outcome. All right, so here it is. The change from the Atlas GUNWORKS 5-inch toolless guide rod DLC, and I was able to use the EGW insert for it back here just to match it all, and it covers that gap in between and not using the factory one. And then I just went back to using the factory spring as well. You guys can see, pretty smooth. And yeah, so hopefully this was able to help some of you guys with the EGW guide rod here, toolless, but then you need this to not lose it, and then you need a spare item to push all that all the way back so you can remove it and then put the pin in to pull it out. So that's a lot of work when everything is in one piece, and it's a lot easier to do changing that. And yeah, you don't need the two-piece factory one. This was able to help some of you guys. But yeah, here it is, a different change and another change for the Prodigy 5-inch. Ooh, pretty sweet. So let me know what you guys think. As always, guys, I appreciate the love and support. As always, take care and stay safe.